We are standing right on the edge of a massive revolution in how we live and even how we die. What if healthcare wasn't about fighting sickness, but about creating lifelong wellness for pretty much everyone? We're going to dive into that huge shift using concepts from Andrew Turtle's Abundance as our guide, looking at how we go from a world of scarcity to a future of health for all. This is really the question at the heart of it all. What if our entire approach to health just flipped? Instead of waiting around for the crisis, the bad diagnosis, the emergency room visit, what if we built a system that was actually designed for universal well-being, right from the very beginning? It's a pretty radical thought, isn't it? And if it happens, it changes absolutely everything. All right, so here's the path we're going to take. First, we'll look at the big picture shift from scarcity to abundance. Then we'll dive into our current crisis-driven system. After that, we'll explore the tech that's blowing it all up. And finally, imagine this future where health is basically a utility, leading to a whole new era of human flourishing. Okay, so to really get where health is headed, we have to zoom way out. For almost all of human history, our societies have been defined by one thing: scarcity. Not enough food, not enough resources, not enough of anything, really. But that's starting to change. We are actually entering a brand new era.
So, look at this. On the left, you've got this constant struggle, right? Competition over limited stuff. That's the world of day two, a mindset built on scarcity and just trying to survive. But over on the right, you see something totally different. Cooperation, regeneration. That's the goal, the day four model, where the focus isn't just on surviving, but on truly flourishing.
So how does this whole scarcity idea show up in healthcare? Well, it created the system we all know today, one that's fundamentally designed to react to a crisis only after it's already happened.
And here you can see those two mindsets in action. Our current day two approach, it's all reactive. You feel sick, you go see a doctor, you get treated. It's episodic, right? It happens in these little bursts. But the day four vision is proactive. It's a system of continuous support that's designed to keep you well and to stop the crisis from ever happening in the first place.
These are really the classic signs of scarcity-based healthcare. It's all centralized in physical buildings like hospitals and clinics. The high costs and the fact that it relies on a pretty limited pool of specialists means that access gets rationed, and it's often really unequal. The entire system is basically set up to wait for you to have a problem and then try to fix it, which, let's be honest, is incredibly inefficient and often way too late. So the big question is, how do we get from that old world to the new one? Well, we enter this transitional phase, which the source material calls day three. And this is where technology basically acts like a battering ram, just knocking down the walls of that old scarcity system. There are three key technologies that are really driving this whole change. First up, you've got AI diagnostics that can see patterns a human doctor might miss, catching diseases way earlier than we ever thought possible. Second is digital health, the smartwatches and sensors that are giving us a constant stream of data about our own bodies. And finally, advanced biotech, which is moving us beyond just treating symptoms to actually fixing the root cause of a disease. Think about it this way. A normal doctor's visit is like a single photograph of your health on one random day. But the continuous data we get from our wearables, that gives us the whole movie. The AI can actually see the plot developing, it can see the trends and the warning signs long before you get to the dramatic climax of an actual diagnosis. And this, right here, this is the real game changer. We're not just looking for the disease anymore, we're looking for the trajectory toward disease. By spotting these subtle early signals, maybe months or even years in advance, we can finally move from just detecting something bad to true radical prevention. So this massive technological shift leads us to the ultimate vision for day four, a world where your health isn't some commodity you have to buy, but a fundamental utility that's available to everyone, just like electricity or clean water. So what does that actually look like in the real world? Well, it's a system designed not to fix you when you break, but to keep you well for your entire life. And here's the most critical part. It's not a service you purchase. It's a baseline right, something you're entitled to in a modern civilization, just like clean water. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? The whole purpose of the system pivots. We stop acting like firefighters, always rushing to put out the blaze of an illness, and instead we become more like gardeners, carefully cultivating a healthy population from the very beginning. This also completely changes where your care happens. The day two model is built around the hospital, this big central building you have to travel to. But day four care is distributed. It's centered on you, wherever you happen to be. The care actually comes to the person instead of the other way around.
And that's the practical result of all this. Through things like remote monitoring, home diagnostics, and telehealth platforms, the system is just always with you. Care becomes this continuous, background process that's integrated into your life, not some place you have to drag yourself to when things go wrong.
So why does any of this really matter? Because this isn't just about getting better healthcare. It's about what happens to us as people, as a species, when that fundamental anxiety of getting sick is finally lifted from our shoulders.
The new goal isn't just about avoiding death, it's about enabling life at its absolute fullest. It's about creating the conditions for people, and for whole communities, to truly flourish, physically, mentally, and socially. Health stops being the end point, it becomes the starting point for a more creative and vibrant life.
And that really just leaves us with this final, powerful question to think about. When our survival is basically a given, when our physical well-being is a stable foundation we can all count on, what becomes possible? What kind of energy, what kind of creativity and potential can be unlocked when an entire species is freed from the fear of getting sick? That, right there, is the true promise of a future of abundance.